Adding content to your course is very easy in D2L. To do so, we click on Content in the red nav bar. On the left-hand side, you have the option to add a module. A module is simply a folder or container in which you can place additional files. You can create submodules. However, we caution that you do not have a subfolder within a subfolder. To add a module, we click on Add a Module. Let's say that I want my first module to be called Course Overview. I type it in and click Enter. The module that is displayed on the right-hand side is selected in blue, and here I have options to either edit the title, or if I click on the drop-down icon, it brings me with a submenu of more options. Here I can delete the module, move it to another location, or again, edit the title. Let's say that I want to keep my course organized chronologically. I'm going to have week 1, week 2, and so forth. If I wish to rearrange the modules, I can click on the 3 hash marks beside each of the module's name, click and hold, and drag it to where I want it. If I hold it over to where I see a gray bar, it will move that module in between those 2 modules. If I was to grab the module and drag it over top of another module where it turns orange, it will place that module as a subfolder within that module. Notice that we can tell that it is a submodule by its indentation. Let's say that this was a mistake. I can click it and drag it till I get the gray bar, release, and now they are in the same hierarchy. Let's move this back to where it was. It is important to note that if within week 1 I have a submodule called Lecture 1, I see it when it's selected in blue. If I was to click on week 1, I see that on the right-hand side week 1 is selected, and I have a submodule here listed within. I can quickly add a submodule here. I have Lecture 1 and Lecture 2. Now I can add files either within to week 1 or to each of my submodules. It is important to note that if I was to click on week 2, that the lectures 1 and 2 are now hidden until I click back on week 1. Let's go to my course overview and learn how to add a file. To do so, I can either drag and drop files directly from my desktop into this area here. In order to do so, you must have a compatible browser such as Firefox, Chrome, or Safari. I can also add files by clicking on New, Upload Files, and ensuring that my computer is selected, I click on the Upload button. I choose the file which I wish to add. Let's choose a course outline. Click Open, and then click Add. I can add multiple files at the same time. Let's go back to New, Upload Files, click on the Upload button. Let's choose these 2 files, click Open, and click Add, and you see both these files are added. You'll notice that the icons to the left of each title are different, indicating which type of file it is. Here we have a PDF, here we have a Word file. However, I've placed these files in the wrong section. Just like I moved modules, I can move files as well. If I wanted to rearrange these within this section, I can drag and drop, or I can drag them over into different modules. There are a few other options that I have to manage my content. First, on the right-hand side, I can either publish or save this folder as a draft. You'll notice later on that these options are also available for individual files. This option here applies to the Course Overview module. I can add dates and restrictions to this module. You'll notice that when I hover my mouse over top of this area, it turns gray, indicating to me that I can edit this option. By clicking on it, I can choose to have a start date or end date. By default, this module is always visible. If I add a start date, the module will not be visible to students until that date. If I choose an end date, the module will disappear from student view at that particular time. If I've made the wrong choice, I can simply click on the X button to remove that date. A due date, on the other hand, adds an item to the calendar but does not change the student's ability to view that module. Let's say that I added a due date. I need to make sure that I click on the blue Update button below. I can also add a description to this module. Here I can click on Add a Description, and a generic word editor pops up. On the bottom right, I can resize this window. On the top right, I can show more options. You'll notice there's control over font styles, equation editors, and cut, copy, and paste options. I can also insert an image or insert what D2L calls other stuff. This includes things such as video notes if you have a webcam, embed YouTube videos, and so forth. Let's say that I want to leave a message for my students. Again, I click on the Update button, and it saves my changes. You can also edit the settings for individual files by clicking on the drop-down menu and editing properties in place. This gives me a similar look to the options I had with the individual modules. As you learn more about D2L, you'll notice that you can easily add other features, such as Dropbox assignments folders, quizzes, surveys, checklists, discussions, and so forth. It is important to mention to your students that if you have a dynamic PowerPoint, such as one that contains video, that they must download the PowerPoint first before they can view the embedded videos. Remember, if you're not sure how to do something, one of the first places to check is the drop-down options. If that fails, you can go back to the Home button and search the help, or contact us at itsupport@ucalgary.ca.